Have you ever felt a book staring back at you? In 1998, a postgraduate researcher named Dara was about to learn that some books do more than just stare. They watch, they wait, and they demand a price for their secrets. It was a quiet night in the restricted section of the University of Calabar's library. Dara was cataloging old documents, a tedious but harmless task. Surrounded by the scent of dust and aging paper, he worked his way through stacks of forgotten history. Most books were exactly what you'd expect, brittle, faded, and silent, but then he found it. Tucked away at the bottom of a crate was a thick manuscript, bound in jet black leather and sealed shut with a single, ominous stamp of red wax. It felt different. It felt heavy, not just in weight, but with a presence that seemed to absorb the light around it. Ignoring a strange prickle of unease, Dara took a small knife and carefully broke the seal. The moment the old wax cracked, the fluorescent lights overhead flickered violently, plunging the room into a strobing, disorienting dance of light and shadow before settling back to a low hum. His breath caught in his throat. He dismissed it as faulty wiring, a common issue in the old building. But a part of him knew better. He opened the cover. The pages inside were filled with a script he'd never seen before, a twisting, thorny language that seemed to squirm on the page. The ink was a deep, unsettling crimson, almost like dried blood. As he traced the lines with his finger, he felt a strange warmth radiate from the parchment. He flipped through the bizarre text, his academic curiosity warring with a growing sense of dread. Suddenly, a few of the symbols began to glow with a faint, sickly green light, as if they were reacting to his touch, awakening from a long slumber. He reached the final page, which was completely blank, or so he thought. As he stared, his eyes adjusting to the dim light, ink began to bleed into the fibers of the paper, forming words in perfect English. The handwriting was elegant, precise, and seemed to be written by an invisible hand, right there in front of him. The message was simple and chilling. Do not read the next line. His heart hammered against his ribs. Every instinct screamed at him to slam the book shut, to put it back in its box, and forget he ever saw it. But the pull was too strong. What could be so terrible? What secret was it hiding? It was just a book, after all. Curiosity, that fatal human flaw, won the battle. With a trembling hand, he turned the page. Instantly, a sharp, cold wind ripped through the sealed, windowless room, sending loose papers flying. The gust was so strong it felt like a physical blow, and it smelled of damp earth and something else, something rotten. And then he heard it. Footsteps, slow, heavy, dragging footsteps, coming from right behind him. Scrape, drag, scrape, drag, getting closer and closer. He spun around, his chair screeching on the floor. There was no one there. Just rows and rows of silent, watching bookshelves. He turned back to the manuscript, his mind racing. Was he hallucinating? And then, with a loud pop, the lights went out completely, plunging him into absolute, suffocating darkness. Panic seized him. He was frozen in his chair, unable to move, unable to breathe. The silence was deafening, broken only by the frantic pounding of his own heart. Then, a voice whispered directly over his shoulder, so close he could feel a cold breath on his neck. It was a dry, ancient sound like leaves crumbling. It said, "Knowledge has a price." Just as suddenly as they went out, the lights flickered back on. Dara blinked, his eyes stinging. The manuscript was on the table, but it was closed, and the red wax seal. It was perfectly intact, as if it had never been broken. It was impossible, but there was proof. His hands were shaking uncontrollably, and when he looked down, he saw it. Burned faintly into the skin of his wrist like a ghostly tattoo was one of the glowing symbols from the book. Dara was never the same after that night. For the next 5 years, he lived in a state of quiet terror. He told his closest friends that he saw shadows moving in reverse, that he would hear whispers of conversations moments before they happened. He started having nightmares, vivid and terrifying, where he spoke fluently in languages he had never learned, languages from the Cursed Book. He was haunted. In 2003, Dara disappeared without a trace. The police found his dorm room empty, except for a single, hastily scribbled note left on his desk. It read, "Some books were never meant to be opened twice. He was never seen again." The manuscript remains in the university's archives, sealed and silent, waiting for its next curious reader. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy stories that explore the darker side of knowledge, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Stay curious, but be careful what pages you turn.